Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Ryan Nordahl here with Epic Whitetail Habitat LLC. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell notification. That way every time I upload a new video, you get that notification right away. Today I want to talk about a 20-acre property that I had in Northwest Wisconsin that I helped set up over the winter. It's a great property. It's a very small property. It's only 20 acres, but it sets up pretty good. And the access couldn't be better. But the property itself needed some improvement, that's for sure. It was large, mature canopy forest setting. It had a lot of natural topographical features that are really going to help for its access. But there's things that we need to do to help improve that property, to help hold more deer while they're on the property, to waste their time. You're never going to hold the deer there. They're going to move to and from through the property because they are wild deer. Let's just put it at that. If we wanted to hold them, we'd have to put a high fence around the entire property. But what we can do is we can waste their time when they are there on the property itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to implement a lot of hinge cutting on this property, because there is hinge cutting opportunity. Now, I don't suggest, if you've never have done hinge cutting before, to never do it on your own. Always hire professionals such as myself. I have plenty of experience. Have a logger come in and do the work for you. But there is no logging opportunity as far as a timber sale on this property. Not that that's a lot of junk trees. It's just, it's not the time for a logging opportunity, and really it isn't for quite some time. So we're going to implement some hinge cutting on this property. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got that project coming up here in May. They've had a lot of snow in northern Wisconsin this year. We've actually had a lot of snow. I'm filming this. It is the 18th of April, just this past Monday. We had over 22 inches of snow right here. We thought winter was over with. I mean, we were 90 degrees last week, and we got slammed. We're down in the mid 40s today, I think, for a high. We got slammed with snow, and now we're getting rain these few days. It's the start of turkey season here in Wisconsin too. Had a great day this past Saturday with my 6-year-old. He was able to capitalize. Check that video out of that turkey hunt on our other YouTube channel, Outdoors Daily. You'll want to check that out. Give it a like, give it a share. It's a pretty good hunt. Anyway, back to the topic here. Again, as you can see, north is to the top of this whiteboard right here. What we've got is we've got our road at the north end of the property. Sets up great, especially for those westerly winds. Client usually parks here in the northeast corner. He has an access trail to get into his property, into this food plot here. This is a food plot right here at the north end. It sets up pretty good because this is a natural land bridge that rolls back to the south. So when deer are in this particular food plot, they're naturally screened from the road frontage. But we do get some deer travel from across the road to the north. This is a big woods area. A lot of ag field off to the east. So this client is getting a lot of east and west traffic through this property. But he's already implemented the food plot on this property. We're making it a little bit bigger. We're extending this area here a little bit more. We're going to get him to about an acre in size. We're shooting for that 5 to 10% of the property itself into food plot. So I think we can gain about an acre here. And we've got a little food plot that we're going to create down here on this end too, a little micro kill plot that's going to be hunted only in a certain wind direction and certain time of the year if need be. We want this stand location right here. And the access sets up great because access is an old power line. The power lines themselves have actually been buried, and it's a very narrow strip of the strip itself. This entire highline clearing area is probably 25 to 30 yards wide. So there's a lot of things that we can do. This rolls in here, so over the top of those little knolls and stuff that are in there, we can plant or hinge cut, but we can either plant some trees, some screening vegetation like switchgrass, conifers of any kind that we want to help conceal his movement as he's coming back into this stand in the corner, which sets up really great for the rut. We're going to come in here. This is kind of a little point right in here. We're going to hinge cut this point, create a little bit of bedding area back in here, hopefully for a mature buck or whatnot. Have a travel corridor that already exists back into this corner. He has a stand location right here already, but we're going to extend this travel corridor and connect it back down into the edge of this little ravine. This is a little ravine that helps if he's in this stand location and we have a southerly wind, southwest wind, and as the winds die down late in the afternoon, the thermals are going to pull down into this low area. The deer really do not go down into these areas at all, so it sets up great for allowing his wind as the thermals settle in the evening to be pushed down into these lower locations. These are a little bit higher locations around here. We're going to stack some does, try to stack some does a little closer to this food. This is a little bit of a high little ridge right in here per se, and there's another little ridge that comes in like this here, which would give him a nice little stand location. We're going to extend this travel corridor as it already naturally exists. We're just going to improve it. We're going to drop some trees perpendicular to the trail just to help guide them, and get some new fresh browse coming along that travel corridor as well. Give him a box blind location, like I said, right here. He can come in. We're going to drop some trees, some walls of cover to help screen his access into this box blind even better. He's going to have a box blind here, but I think just to protect, because of the wind direction, you know, we're mostly a westerly wind direction, we're going to move this box blind probably back over by this and leave this stand location that currently exists. I like the way that stand sets up off the road, quick and easy, in and out. You know, if he gets there late on a Friday afternoon before the weekend, wants to get in for an evening hunt, I don't think he should have a problem getting into that without busting any deer. Again, you know, we're going to have does stacked up here on this little ridge, but I think we can, with hinge cutting strategically, we can screen off that little ridge system so deer do not see him accessing. Again, we can hinge cut up along his access as well, so he can get into that stand totally undetected from a visual standpoint of the deer. I just like the way that this little property sets up. I think it's going to be a sweet little honey hole for him here in the future and the years to come for sure. But I think there's a lot that we can do here yet this year to help him in the coming hunting season at least have more encounters with the mature deer, or the level of maturity of bucks that he's after in this particular area. I'm going to be bringing you some of the updates from this property. We're going to be the ones that are doing a lot of the hinge cutting up here, and so be sure to look for that. We're going to be implementing the hinge cutting on this property here in about the middle of May, so be looking for that video after the middle of May here, but definitely within the month of May before we transition into June. So I hope that answers some questions on what you could probably use and utilize on your small properties. I wanted to touch on one more thing. This is going to be a little water hole location back here, just a sweetener. Probably have a mock scrape here too somewhere along the line. There is a trail that comes off. This is actually a little plateau. It comes up to a little bit higher ground onto this point. So we're going to have a middle trail in here, And we want them to be able to get out to them ag fields late in the evening for sure, or when they're coming back in early in the mornings. We want these deer to be able to come back in. So this is a nice little crossroads location right here, and it sets up fairly well. We'll probably have another little water hole over on this side here somewhere, like in this area where they come off of this point, where the deer come off of this point. And the hunter should still be able to shoot this water hole. Be a little bit of a stretch with a shot, but it's one that I know the hunter can make. And it's really just him and his son that hunt this small property. And I think it should be great. Yes, we do have a couple stand locations. I think we have one right down in here that would set up for an east wind, a southeast wind, blowing his scent either out into the neighbors to the west or out across the road to the north. I think it's a property that's going to set up fairly well after we start implementing a few of the things that I come up with for the plan. And these are just some ideas that we can get across to you as well, hopefully. Again, over on this side, it's mostly just creating that depth of cover with some hinge cut pockets in here as well. Again, trying to stack the does as close to this main food sources as we possibly can to give those bucks a little bit more cover. There's a lot of buck activity in this corner. The unfortunate thing is, but to a benefit of the hunter of this property, there is a stand location on the neighbors pretty close here, but with the right hinge cutting strategy, we can get these deer, if this hunter comes in, bump these deer deeper into this property as well and feel secure, knowing that this property is a sanctuary and where they want to be. I hope you found this video a little bit helpful and educational. Give it a like, give it a share. Thanks for joining me. Good luck with your habitat projects this spring and summer. Keep living the dream, and as always, God bless.